Good morning, everyone. This is Karl F Rose recording from Bedford, Pennsylvania on Sunday, August 18th, 2019. And yes, I was able to catch the second half of the Lions game after I came home from the baseball game that I was at. Okay, just had to put that in there, and had a good time. But anyway, when I got home, I I saw the very last part of the first half, and then the whole second half. What I saw of Josh Johnson was not very impressive. He was doing okay, except for the fumble near the end of the first half. That was definitely his. Well, it was the center's fault, and his fault too. It was a combination. So you can't blame it all on the center, but you can't blame it all on him either. It was a team effort on that fumble. Anyway, the second half. I mean, there were some, even though they lost, it was much better. From what I saw, it was better than the New England performance, but they definitely still need some work. Next week will be really the Lions. We need to see the Lions actually win next week, because that's when most of the starters are in for a while. So yeah, they need to have a much better performance next week. But anyway, the standouts that I saw was actually Killebrew on defense, and even though Fales did a lot better than he did the first week, I'm still not sold on Fales. But I did notice one thing. Now didn't see enough of the first half to see if Matt Stafford was doing this with Josh Johnson or not. But I was noticing that every time Fales came back to the sideline, that Matthew Stafford was in his ear. So whatever Matthew Stafford was saying, and they were doing a lot of hurry-up stuff, mainly because they were behind. And whatever Matthew Stafford was saying to Fales seemed to be working. But and not only that, I think he's fighting for survival here. He couldn't have two horrible performances in a row and actually remain on the team, because if he would have played as badly this go around, he wouldn't be on. And the same goes for the offensive line. Even though they were all the non-starter linemen up there, definite improvement, but still they need to be they need a lot more work. But it was an improvement. But the defense, for the most part, except for the big chunks of runs that Texans were getting near the end of the game, for the most part, their defense was looking good. Like I said, Killebrew. I didn't get to see much of Jelani Tavani, but Chris Spielman, apparently he had a good first half. And that Omari, I'm just going to call him O. From what I can see, he's I think he will be good, but he definitely needs to adjust to the NFL. He's got his moments, and it's just like a lot of other channels have said that yeah, he's going to probably be burnt from time to time. And the pass interference, I believe it was him. I think it was him. I hope I have the right player. But where the Texans got it on the 5 yard line. That was definitely a good pass interference call, even though Matt Patricia uh, challenged it and lost. I think Patricia's testing the referees out on the new rule because it was clearly pass interference, but he threw the challenge flag anyway. But these new backs, they they really need to get adjusted to the NFL. So um, the secondary, the second string secondary still needs some work, but the defensive line and the linebacking play, from what I saw in the second half, seemed to be pretty good. It was an improvement. And I guess Spielman gave Fales player of the game, so I guess for this game he gets an A instead of an F. But again, I'm still not sold on him, and I'm actually still not sold on Savage either. Even though he's in concussion protocol, Savage is probably going to be the backup, and I'm just not sold on any of their anybody who they have for backup. It's still going to be the same situation. So if something happens to Stafford, the Lions are going to go downhill fast. Maybe that's kind of why Stafford was in the ear so much of Fales. Just trying to coach him up, and just in the event that something terribly goes wrong terribly, and they need to step up. So that's still the glaring problem. It's pretty obvious. I think everybody in the universe knows that this is a problem, even the other teams, and Matthew Stafford's going to be a target when the season starts. So it's going to be very crucial that he gets the protection that he needs, and they have the offense running the way it goes, so he doesn't have to throw 50 times a game, so they can have a more of a running game, but still with the ability to throw the deep ball, because that's critical to be able to do that. But I mean, big difference between, and I am liking the Darrell Bevell system. It's going to take some time, but when the season starts, I'm saying this, going to say this over and over again. Lions need to get out 3-0. That's how they need to start the season. But that's down the road, and again, they got to take everything one at a time, even though the preseason game. So, and just because they have the Arizona Cardinals in the first game, that's not necessarily going to be a gimme. But we'll just have to see. But at least we were able to see some improvement, even though it was a loss. It's the kind of preseason game that I like to see, something where you can see some progress. The wins and the loss in the preseason, that's not the concern. The concern is how these backups are performing, and that's kind of why I say that Game 4 is really a precursor to how the season's going to go, because I'm always taking into account the event of injury. So Game 4 is kind of like you're looking at the glue. I call it Game 4 because really that's all the in Game 4 of the preseason. That's when you have the battles for the remaining spots on the team, and then they make the final cuts. So whoever's out there, if they have a miserable game on Game 4, that's telling me that, okay, if these guys are going to be that bad all across the board, then if their starters go down, then you're looking at a long season. And that's why I said last year that they were going to get destroyed by the Jets in Game 1. And sure enough, that's what happened. And there was a lot of reasons why I said that. It was Matt Patricia's first year. But this is his second go around. And comparing the contrast between last year and this year, even though they're still not playing, too well, I think as a coach, I think there's, because I'm looking at Matt Patricia as a coach too, see how he's doing, and he seems to be getting things together as a head coach as well as the other coaches. The special teams, I think, I'm not too happy with the special teams coach. Special teams still need to have some work. They almost had some really horrible blunders, but they dodged some bullets. Anyway, well, I wanted to get this podcast off because just certain things came up, and I won't be doing a podcast tomorrow morning just because of just unexpected things that I need to take care of. So with that said, let's see, what do we have here? There we go. And we will talk to you next time.